This week, President Trump is expected to announce billions of dollars in aid for the nation's farmers. Many are in financial crisis despite harvesting one of the largest crops in history. CBS's Lana Zak is the only network correspondent based in Iowa and has more tonight on the growing crisis there.
Farmers are waiting to hear the details of what could be a financial lifeline as farm bankruptcies this year are surging.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the show. So we've seen this all over the U.S. We see farmers struggling. They're coming out and they're saying that they're struggling. Part of the reason that they're struggling is because of tariffs and the fact that China is not buying soybean from us right now, and they're buying from Brazil and they're buying from Argentina. So we have a real problem. Now, the solution, at least the White House, they think the solution is that we're going to bail these farmers out. So the taxpayers, we're going to have to bail these farmers out. Now, I don't know how you guys feel about that. You guys can let me know in the comments below. But some people are very upset with farmers because some of these same farmers in a lot of the states that we're looking at that are having these issues, they're red states. They're states that voted for Trump. And now these same states are struggling as a result of policies put out by Trump, okay? Because the tariffs, this is all coming from Trump. He did executive orders to get these tariffs on board. We didn't go through Congress. We didn't do anything like that. So he is the person who's solely responsible for some of the situations that we're seeing in some of these red states, some of these farmers that are struggling, the bankruptcies that are up, like they just said. This is all as a result of what President Trump has put forward. So my question to you, as I stated in the comments, I want you guys to let me know right now. We'll watch the rest of this clip in a second, but I want you to let me know, do you think we should be bailing out farmers? Now, not all farmers voted for Trump. But we do know some farmers voted for Trump, and I've shown you videos of farmers saying, I support Trump, or I supported Trump, and why is he doing this to us? Well, this is not the first time that this has happened to farmers. If you go back, 2018, we saw a very similar situation where Trump imposed some tariffs on certain countries, and farmers struggled as a result of that. And then we had to bail out the farmers in that situation. And so now we're bailing the farmers out again. And this is taxpayer dollars. And guess what? Farmers aren't the only ones that are struggling. The American people are struggling. We're paying more when we go to the grocery store. We're paying more if we want to buy appliances and electronics and all of that, because we're looking at those tariffs as well. And those tariffs mean that we have to pay a little bit more because we're victims of the tariffs as well, and we have to pay more as a result of that. So it's not just the farmers, but guess what? The farmers get the bailout. Now, we did hear President Trump said, you know, we're thinking about sending out these dividend checks or sending out money to the American people. And so basically what he's saying is take some of that tariff revenue and go ahead and give it to the American people. But the problem with that is all you're doing is you're making us pay more, and then you're saying, okay, we're going to give you a little bit of your money back. When the right move would have been, if you didn't impose these tariffs, we wouldn't have to be paying more, and maybe we can get prices down. But now there's no hope for that. Prices are going to continue to increase, and we're seeing that. You just look at the Bureau of Labor Statistics, CPI numbers, it's continuing to increase. And so we know inflation is a problem, so why impose these tariffs? That's my question. So let's go ahead and finish watching this clip, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about it. Here we go.
This is the season that farmer Rob Ewalt usually lives for, harvesting nearly 2,000 acres of corn and soy.
I don't believe there'll be a profit this year. I think we will go backwards.
Ewalt learned the family business from his parents, who struggled but survived the 1980s farm crisis. He sees parallels.
As a kid, I'd go to bed, and you'd hear the whisperings of my parents talking about finances. We didn't know what was going on, but now I know what they were talking about. We want to split open the pod. Okay. The pod should crack open.
Farmers may be forced to sell their crops at steep losses now that China, once the largest buyer of U.S. soy exports, is retaliating against U.S. tariffs.
So you've done all this work, and you have more work to do, and you're losing money.
Yeah, it's a great occupation, isn't it?
It could mean ruin for some farmers. As of June, 55% more filed for bankruptcy compared to the previous year-to-year period.
Ag's going to have to go through a lot of adjustments to try to get our financial house in order.
Professor Chad Hart is an agricultural economist at Iowa State University.
This has been going on for some time, and the deeper that loss hold gets, the harder it is to climb your way back out.
Ewald wants to be able to pass the farm on to his sons one day, but he says with so much uncertainty, it's hard to tell what the future holds.
It's an endless cycle that we're caught in right now, and this is all I know. Can't do it any better.
Most farmers don't show that they're struggling until it's too late. Ewald said he wanted to be honest about the challenges so that others know that they are not alone.
Okay, so you see that farmer struggling, brought to tears when it comes to the thought that he could lose his farm as a result of tariffs, and we know that. Now, I want to talk a little bit about bailouts, because what is a bailout really going to do? You have these soybean farmers. They're struggling right now to sell their product. They don't have the customers that they used to have. China, who was their biggest customer, is no longer buying soybean from the U.S. They're buying from Brazil and they're buying it from Argentina. So now they have a place to go. China has a place to go. They might not come back. They probably won't come back to the U.S. for a very long time. And so even if you have these bailouts, let's say you're giving these different farms money just to keep these farms afloat, that's not going to solve the problem, because you need customers. You need people to buy what you're selling. You can just keep giving people money. The government can keep just giving people money. But if you don't have customers, you're never going to get to a point where you're self-sufficient. And ultimately, you'll still probably go out of business because you don't have the customers that you used to have. So the issue is trade agreements. The issue is they need to get back China. They need to get back some of these customers so they can sell soybean. If they can't do that and we're just giving them money every year, we're just going to give them taxpayer dollars, that's not going to help. That's not going to solve the problem. That might allow them to stay afloat for a little bit longer, but it's not going to solve the problem. And that's why I think bailouts is not the right way to go. What we need is the current administration to talk to China and say, look, we're sorry, we shouldn't have imposed these different tariffs. We'll take them down. We'll open up trade agreement with the U.S. and China again so we can sell soybean. That's what needs to happen. But us just saying, okay, well, we're just going to take the tax dollars and we're just going to give it to farmers, that is not going to help the situation. That's only going to give the farmers a little bit of an extension. But if they can't find consumers, if they can't find people to buy their soybeans, it's not going to work. And I want to know what you guys think, so let me know in the comments below. But right now, this is a bad time. This is a really bad time. And remember, this is a direct result from policy that is currently being implemented that's not working. And it's costing all of us more money. And farmers are just on the front lines of this. We're all going to start seeing some of the impacts as well. We're all going to really start struggling as well, because everything is going to go up. The prices, we know that they're going to go up. We know that there's certain companies right now that are eating tariffs. They're not passing it on to the consumer, but eventually they're going to go ahead and pass it on to the consumers. And we're all going to be in a bad situation. So I want to know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye. So that's all we have for this video. Make sure if you guys want to send me an email, you can do that, david@thetecshow.com. Like the video, subscribe for more, and check out these videos over here for some more great content. Talk to you later. Bye.